talk about medals in case it jinxes it, but I'd be happy with the silver upwards. It's very diplomatic. Silver upwards.
Below silver is bronze, and below that is the dreaded letter, which effectively says the RHS didn't think your garden was worthy of an award. It's not something any designer wants to hear. It's been the wettest summer on record. A miserable time for all the exhibitors. How can they possibly build a garden in this? But build it they do. So you'd think the judges would take these conditions into account. Sadly, the sympathy boat doesn't wash.
We don't make any special consideration for bad weather. It's really rubbish weather every other show. So I mean, this is the norm. It's perhaps been more difficult this year. Good showmen rise to the occasion, and I reckon that the worse the weather on the build-up, the better the exhibits.
It's show time for the show gardens. Chairman Michael Balston kicks off the debate.
Yeah, but hang on, wait a minute. Surely you should spend money.
On the panel is Elizabeth Banks.
This doesn't sort of hold together with the rest of it. And I don't think the words are strong enough.
As a judge and designer, she can always spot a winning garden.
There are girls that stand out. They just have je ne sais quoi. And then you get those that are right at the bottom, and you're longing for them to be able to have an award after all this effort. But sometimes you just can't give it.
Well, I think we're probably a bit sad about this one, but
I think maybe wrong. You feel very bad, actually, but you've got to keep the standards up, and the standards at the RHS are very, very high.
Over at the flower beds, Jim Buttress briefs his team.
All the positive comments first, the good stuff, and then when we've exhausted that, then we'll start putting a few could do better, like my school report.
The flower bed judges include head gardeners and bedding plant specialists with over 100 years' experience between them.
I suppose being totally critical if we have to, I'm not sure how that would survive under their procedure in a park.
Well, that's one of the things here, because it is, it's meant to be sustainable. Theatre's all well and good, but sustainable theatre. So, somebody wants to propose a medal for Wallace.
Fancy gold. I would go with the gold. Silver gilt.
Oh! Proposed gold, seconded gold, voting 2-1. 2-1 for gold.
Philippa's garden is now at the mercy of the show judges. Yesterday, her design was assessed by Dr. Claire Whitehouse, so she starts the discussion.
There's an awful lot going on in this garden, and some criticisms were it was slightly fussy. It's an extremely big building, which again some people thought was out of scale for the size. As far as the planting, there's nice quality plants. I did feel it lacked a sort of middle story. If you took away the tree ferns, it's then extremely flat.
I don't like this bit, I hate it. This is the worst part. I love the whole thing every single day. Bar this one. It's horrible.
I think that some of this planting is very good. I love the use of the ferns all around.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that works very well.
I love the little pin cushions too.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that actually there's very little in here which is actually so bad. I think there's a lot of successful planting, a lot of successful design, and maybe the tension between the size of the building and the size of the plot is actually a plus.
The judges have reached Jane and Alison's Timber Lodge garden. The girls took Bob Sweet's advice and ditched the plants that didn't work, but haven't done enough.
I have to say, we found it very difficult to have nice things about this. For a start, that's such a huge building, which is the reason this whole garden's here, that it's extremely difficult to try and make something nice in front of it. There are so many practical details. It hasn't been set properly, so the steps are different on either side. Although they told us the clients want a different colour balustrade and things, that looks dreadful.
I mean, are there any redeeming features there at all? Those trees are redeeming features, yeah.
And I mean, actually, quite the bigger, but I do think they give the effect of the barrel.
Done. Yeah, it's absolutely done. Yeah. Okay, I think we need to take a vote on this.
The girls' garden is sitting somewhere between a bronze medal and the dreaded letter. A thunderstorm is not the most auspicious time for the judges to descend on your creation. It doesn't exactly show Jeff and Harry's garden at its best.
The overall impression is not very exciting, slightly underwhelming. They weren't finished, and it certainly has improved. Certainly the planting has improved since we last saw it. I think the major design fault we felt was really that the two ponds are almost exactly the same size, and that seems rather unfortunate.
Once again, it's the planting that comes in for criticism.
I think the acres is in very bad condition. You start looking at it.
Yeah, and there's a huge gap.
Yes, that's what was so sad.
Yeah. Well, they still
Yes, they were.
But when the judges run for cover, the news isn't all bad.
And I actually quite like the detail in the actual...